action here with the immigration problem. We have the governor of California going way down to Central and South America to talk to countries there. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez piling on with her tweet, saying the far right loves to drum up fear and resistance to immigrants. But have you noticed they never talk about what's causing people to flee their homes in the first place? Perhaps that's because they'd be forced to confront one major factor fueling global migration: climate change. Marie, this is an argument that you made about Syria as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of evidence, and DOD will actually, the Department of Defense will actually tell you this, that the number of migrants around the world that are being forced to flee their homes because of climate change-related reasons.
Wait, let her finish.
No,
I will.
You can just laugh at me, but the Department of Defense, where you used to serve, agrees with me and not you on this. So
Certain
they say, in places where there is increased drought, for example,
no drought in El Salvador.
Wait, hang on.
No, it's fine. If everyone else just wants to jump on me, they can get their points out there. But my point is that in a number of places around the world, there is hard evidence that there are climate refugees. They are being forced out of their homes because of drought, because of changing sea levels. This isn't a joke. It's not funny. I'm not saying that AOC should have tweeted about it today when we're talking about the current crisis on the southern border, but it is a real thing, and you shouldn't laugh at it.
Okay, so hang on. Okay, well, let me settle the argument, because I went back to research this, and Science Direct and Elsevier, which they do $3 billion in science research every year, nonpartisan group that churns out results, says that former Secretary of State John Kerry based this on a 2-page brief that came out of the Center for Climate and Security, and the brief included no science. That they said they would have, in fact, done things like looked at rainfall. And when they did, the rainfall totals in Syria for the 5 years or whatever the period was around this were above average. So they said it's become one of the top 10 most quoted arguments at this Syria argument, and that in fact the science does not support it. They went back and did the research.
I don't know what you're talking about, but there's numerous evidence that in Syria, one of the reasons...
It's like 100 pages. I got it there.
Okay, well, I worked on this for 4 years in the Obama administration. You found one thing online, Melissa,
there's one little pesky detail in Syria.
It's not one thing. It's actually
ISIS
huge.
And civil war. People caught between
ISIS wasn't there when the civil war started. And
so civil war and bombs and corrupt governments and dictatorships, same thing happened in these Central American governments. You've got terribly run governments. You've got economies going in the tank because of bad policies. People are fleeing crimes and gangs and drugs and coming to our country. And you want to talk about climate change? Like that, it's so missing the mark.
Well, here's what I know about
Here's
what I know about this administration, that the biggest hurdle for them have been the court decisions, and it would be in the interest of Congress to get on board with changing some of the policies about it, making it easier to stay in this country if you're a minor, if you come in from a nation that is non-contiguous, and that means Central America. Maybe Senator Lindsey Graham can get on board with that and get something done. And also, I would like to point out that Labor and Homeland Security on Monday made available an additional 30,000 H-2B visas for seasonal workers. That's an administration that is embracing immigration, but legal immigration.
Why don't we take step one towards fixing the problem, like with health care? Let's come together and do something about that. It's changed the demographics of the people that are coming over, and write law to address the fact that these are large groups coming from Central and South America. How should border security deal with that? Why don't they just tackle just that
something
piece?
The Department of Homeland Security has talked about with the asylum issue is we know that the majority of people claiming asylum are filing false claims because they don't seek asylum in Mexico. They come all the way up to the United States, even though Mexico has offered asylum. That's the first thing. The second thing is the very few people who actually do qualify for asylum aren't getting the attention they need because there are so many people that the government is trying to process right now to get the people help. So all of these false claims that are being made actually hurt real victims of persecution, and they can't get through, and we can't actually help them. So you're not helping asylum seekers if you're letting everybody claim asylum.
President Trump saying he is under audit and won't release his tax returns one day